Welcome to Taking a Swing at Things. I'm your host, Sarah Smithfield. Sports are a big part of our life. Watching them, playing them, and even reading about them. Some people love them, and some people hate them. From professional sports to Little League. In today's podcast, we will focus on how sports change us, how we react when our favorite teams lose, and why people might just hate sports in general. Stay tuned to hear just how these guests take a swing in their own way. In 2021, 236.6 million Americans took part in sports and physical activities. Let's talk about my guest's individual connection to sports. First off, could you all introduce yourself to the podcast I'm recording?
Hi, I'm Katie.
Mr. Label, business teacher in Oak Hartford.
I'm Sam.
All right. So this podcast is about sports. So if you could all tell me about your personal experience with sports. Go first.
Alright, so I used to play soccer, quit that in 3rd grade. Used to do horseback riding, also quit that in 3rd grade. I did softball, that didn't last very long. But that's about it.
I played sports my whole life since I could walk. I started with basketball because my mom wanted me to follow in her footsteps and play basketball. I also started with softball too. I played travel ball for a while, and then ran into really bad coaches, made me not really like the sport as much anymore. And then I was like gung ho for basketball, and I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do. And then I became very aggressive, and I have a mouth on me, so I got myself into trouble a lot in basketball. And I found out that I could play field hockey, and I found goalkeeping, and I went, you know what, I can be aggressive, I won't get yelled at for it, and it's really fun. It's a position not many people want to play because you get relied on for the game a lot. I like that adrenaline rush to me in the game. And then I got around to high school, and I said, you know what, I'll give softball another try. So I played softball for all 4 years in high school.
I've also played sports for a while. I played like soccer and basketball when I was like in elementary school. I did some gymnastics, but it didn't really last long either. But I played lacrosse and I played volleyball. I started playing volleyball this year, and now I play club for intensity. And I'm trying to start up lacrosse again.
Yeah, so I have a long history of sports too. Football, soccer, baseball, basketball in my youth. And then high school football and wrestling. And then college football. And then I've been coaching football for 20 years.
You all have like a big experience with sports. Is there any like favorite moments that you've had while playing or watching? I don't know.
Not really. The only like good moment of sport was probably watching my brothers play. But that's about it.
For me, field hockey is where a lot of my successes have been, and that's like where my favorite memories are. Especially my first time meeting the Howard was my favorite one because all of our coaches went by their first names, like Coach Vaughn, Coach Rebecca. So he was like, I don't know, and I said Coach Carla, and I got my face ripped off on the turf field. She snapped back around and said, "It is Miss Harvard, Coach Harvard to you," and I have been scarred for my life to ever call her anything different. But I think my favorite memory or accomplishment in sports is committing for college because it's always been a dream of mine. And I was told a lot throughout like growing for field hockey that I wasn't gonna be able to play college and that I wasn't good enough. So when I did commit to play a Division II sport, I was like, I did it. I made my goal.
I think like memories with like your team and growing with your team and like just getting on the field and playing or on the court. I think that's just like
Yeah, for me, it's coaching. I get to give back the knowledge I've learned from all my years of experience playing football. So it's nice to be able to give it back to other people that are trying to get better too.
You mentioned like hanging out, kind of with getting to know your team. So how do you all think that sports can bring people together in a new environment?
I think as like because everybody's different in their own way when it comes to a sports team. Like you all come from different backgrounds, you all are different in your way. You like different music, you like different candies, different ice cream flavors, different colors, and when you all can like get along really well, and that's one thing I'll say like about sports teams here is there's really good chemistry on all our sports teams. We all click in a way together. I can't speak for other sports, but I can speak for field hockey wise. Is we all get along very well. We call it a field hockey family, and there's if there's drama or there's arguing, we squash it right away. Like we don't like let that like depict how we play. And when we do play, you can see us all click because we use each other and we know like somebody can be like, I know that person's up there, and like they can send the ball and they know it's gonna get happen, and like everybody puts trust into each other on a team, and I think that that's a big key on a team is trusting each other because if you don't trust each other, then there's no team. You're all playing individually as a like player. There's no team chemistry on the team.
Yeah, Sarah hit it on the head there. The good thing about sports is it forces you out of your bubble. See a lot of different groups working together that usually don't even interact in a school day. Especially a football team, it's a lot of people together at the same time. They usually wouldn't even be hanging out or anything. So it's a good chance to meet new people and to try to learn how to work with other people.
I feel like also with rec sports, you meet kids who don't necessarily go to the same school as you, so you get to hang out and make friends with kids who you never would have met otherwise.
Yeah, backing off your rec thing and everything, like you all come. Some of you can be really good at a rec sport, and because you can have multiple years, and then you play with somebody who's just starting, and to like be able to like use what you know and give it to that person in rec is awesome because then you develop a friendship between each other, and it's just I feel like rec sports is a good place to start when you want to get into a team and get to like have more friends.
According to commentlit.org, sports are supposed to be fun, and when it stops being fun, it has the potential to hurt a child. Let's see what my guests have to say about fun in North Harvard sports practices.
I'll answer that too. I don't know that the focus on fun is okay, but whenever you're doing a sport, that really isn't what your main goal and focus should be. It really is about working with other people and trying to gather together to get better. So it's not going to be fun every day. Like nothing is fun every day. And sometimes I worry about our students and our people thinking like struggle shouldn't happen. This should always feel great. I should always be excited to be there. That's not the case. And sports is supposed to teach you that. And you just keep showing up. And some days it's going to be great, and some days it's not going to be great. Some days Miss Harvard's going to tear your face off. And that's
Yeah.
okay because it's a process of trying to get better together and learn about yourselves together and become better humans, really.
I feel like no team is really like they're never going to be good or perfect if they don't have their down moments. Like if you don't have a down moment, then it doesn't really feel like a competitive sport because it doesn't. Because if you don't like I've had problems with people, and yes, do we go at it with each other and we rip our face like each other's faces off? Yeah, we do, and we take that moment. We all have our time to reset, but then we go back to each other and we say, you know what, I messed up on what I said, and that person does the same thing, and then that's what brings you guys closer together in sport.
I feel like owning your mistakes is what also helps like bring you closer together and like learning from each other. That's
I think the mistakes and the struggles is the only opportunity really to grow. Having fun all the time is great as far as entertainment, but it's not really helping you grow. You need that struggle and you need those mistakes and you need to work through together to grow.
Do you think there's any way that like our school could specifically improve their team sports?
I don't know, but like from my experiences with sports teams here, I've gotten along with everybody really well. Um, I mean, I have run into a couple bad like coaches in the other sport at this school that wasn't my main sport, and yeah, sometimes it made you like feel like, why do I play this sport? Sometimes, but then at the end, you have to look at it as like I was looked at it as like, you know what? I'm with the people that I'm not like I want to be with. I'm enjoying myself with the teammates. Like in the end, I don't want to just throw away. Like I'm like, you know what? Why throw the passion you have away for one bad person? Kind of block out the energy and just kind of ignore it, even though it's kind of ignore it sometimes.
Yeah, when you talk about success and being better, we think too much about wins and losses sometimes around here. Well, really, it's about how did the team interact with each other? How did they perform based off of what they had? a lot of your wins and losses aren't even in your control. If you're playing a team that has 3 D1 athletes on it, you can play the best you possibly can. You might not just have the natural ability to match them. So it's more about looking at the group in general. Did they improve? Were they good sports? Did they represent themselves and work Harvard in a good way? I think we need to reframe what success looks like a little bit too, because we always focus on these wins and losses, and then that actually leads you to become a worse team when you don't have success there. Then you're saying, well, why am I playing? I'm not winning. Or why am I playing? I'm not getting enough playing time. When that's really not what success looks like when you really look at it what the team's supposed to be doing.
I agree with you on that. Like, I used to feel hockey a lot, and like Miss Harwood would say that a lot. She's like, I don't care if you lost. You guys didn't play. Like you played to their level. But you know what? One bad call happens. So what? It's gonna happen. Refs are gonna make a mistake. And I agree with what you said. Our school, we base a lot on did we win, did we lose? It doesn't really matter. Wins and losses is not deciding if you're a good team or not. Good team has to do with the chemistry. If you all use each other, and if you play to the level, and we've played in field hockey against girls that were committed to play big Division I schools, and we kind of like we didn't care. We were like, you know what? We'll play to your level. Like we'll step up because you always can go up. Like you don't want to go down, you always want to go up, and if you always go up, it's not that a bad thing at all. And I agree with you. The wins and losses here at school, everybody is like, oh, they lost to this team, our rivals, and it's like, who cares? We didn't play like we went and losing. Like we played like we're gonna win, we're gonna keep up, we're gonna play to their level.
The guy on our basketball team had a loss to Falston that was a good loss. They played really well to a team that's a little bit better than them and almost beat them. So there's good losses. And then I know there's also some bad wins. I know in football we've had some wins where we didn't play well. We just were fortunate enough to have better players that day.
How did we win that game?
Right, exactly.
Because we had that in field hockey.
Exactly.
We beat some people who we walked away and we really just won that game. Like, there's no way.
In this section of the podcast, we move on to more professional sports, like the ones you watch on TV. WFMY News say that fans get invested for emotional and physiological reasons when they cheer on a sports team. But can it ever be too much, specifically in North Hartford? How do you think, like, our Maryland teams, kind of like the Ravens or the Orioles, like their losses translate to this school? Because I know a lot when they lose a game, I walk through the hallways and people are like mad and kind of like angry at other people if someone's wearing the opposing team's jersey, like very mad. So how do you think that translates to our school?
I feel like it shouldn't matter as much as it does, and a lot of people are probably gonna like dislike me for saying that. But I feel like it shouldn't matter as much as it does because at the end of the day, it's just a game. Like it's all meant like game sports. I feel like should be like not like people are like gonna kill somebody if they fight for the opposite team per se. And maybe I didn't word that the best, but I feel like there shouldn't be as much arguments over it more than I don't even know where I was going with this. Okay.
I get what you're saying. Like, it's not. I mean, a lot of people might be sad, but it's not that deep for like to have this anger towards somebody.
I feel like, especially a lot with professional sports, it gets carried away a little. Like, yeah, you live in Maryland and your parents, like, no, they raise you to be a Baltimore Ravens fan or a Baltimore Orioles fan. And, yeah, sometimes you have to accept people just don't want to jump on a bandwagon. I feel like a lot of people that are Ravens fans, they jump on a bandwagon because of Lamar Jackson or we got Zay Flowers this year and we have Mark Andrews. Like, I feel like people jump on that bandwagon. And I'm not just saying it's with Baltimore. I feel like it happens with Kansas City, Buffalo Bills. You jump on a bandwagon to be a part of something. And then when you get to school, you hear everybody, like, bickering. Like, you hear all the guys bickering, like, oh, that was a waste. Like, why would they run that play and everything? And you're like, well, they ran the play because that's what their coach told them to do. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't argue with the coach. The game, I hate to say it as, like, and, like, maybe sometimes I'm a coach, but, like, the game kind of rests on the coach's hands the way they play the game. And, like, I just feel, and professional sports is topics. With me, I can get very into it about certain things.
People get very emotionally invested in things and they take it too far. I think is what Katie was saying. It's supposed to be entertainment, and it is fun. Like to argue about sports. It can be fun to argue as long as you keep it in perspective. Those guys, even though they compete against each other, they train together, they go to vacations together, they don't hate each other, and they play each other. So if you keep that perspective and realize for them it's just a job and they're playing a game and they're able to put their emotions aside and be friendly, you should be able to be friendly with anybody that's a rival team for sure. I'm a Steelers guy in Ravens country. But I root for the Ravens when they're not playing the Steelers because I want to see the people around me be happy about what happens there.
You definitely put it a lot better.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Right, well, I think that's really covers all my questions. So, thank you guys. There is no single answer to why people like sports, because the answer doesn't lie in the game; it lies in the individual. Today, we learned a lot about sports in school, sports in Baltimore, and sports everywhere else. Make sure to tune in to the next episode. Next time, we'll talk about baseball and spring training. See you next time on Taking a Swing at Things.